home American guys here, and I know he's going to do really well in this race, and Dukai's going to be good. So we're going to ask him some questions. We got some questions from the internet, and then maybe we'll get a few out of the crowd. One question the guy asks, Big Bang engine, the crank duration. He says, is it more like a Yamaha uses a cross-plane crank? Do you like the power delivery? Is it easier to ride? Or is it more of a screamer motor?
All right, yes. Our engine now is definitely more in the Big Bang area. Just with this amount of horsepower now, you need the power band. Also, you need something smooth for tire life. Though the screamer on the right track, a big open track, say Malaysia or something, when it's grippy, could maybe have a little bit more potential. But for 18 races, riding in the rain, slippery, cold tracks, fuel consumption, the Big Bang is our choice.
Well, that was my second question, which is the 800 versus the 1000. And everybody seems to like the 1000 better because obviously it's not screaming as much. Is there anything about the 800 that would still be favorable to you now?
No, that pretty much it. I think most guys, everybody prefers the 1000s. Certainly, I mean, they're more fun to ride, they're more manageable, easier for the engineers as far as sometimes the electronics are so important. Fuel consumption's easier and just more fun bike to ride.
Great. Well, about the electronics, that's another good question. You know, everybody talks about all the street bikes nowadays are coming with electronics standard and it's getting into the traction control, mapping, and all that. Obviously, you've been dealing with it for a long time. And what's your feel on it? Would you like less? Would you like it eliminated? Or is it sort of good where it is now where you can do what you want with it?
Well, for street, I think it's good. Really, you know, riding around on the street for sure can make things safer for unexpected things. And for us, if it's not policed, you know, we need it because, you know, if people think, just turn the electronics down, you'll go faster. Well, no, you won't. There's a reason those electronics help you get around the track faster, help the tire life, help you be more consistent. If they had a way where it limited everybody, you know, with standard ECUs or something, then of course I would love it. But until they come up with a way that they can really police that and everybody have the same amount of traction control, it's gonna be tough. So at the moment, of course, we went too far. I mean, the amount of electronics and computers and sensors on these bikes is pretty far out there. But on the second hand, it does make for a better street bike and help you all have a better, safer bike.
After all, it is development, right? And the public will benefit from that. How high does your bike rev?
Now you're trying to get me in trouble, right?
Like that.
Pretty high.
Colin asks, when the riders are interviewed, they seem to all sort of give a kind of generic answer. Yeah, we're finding a solution, or we had a good rhythm, or that, and then he says, with the sport that's so technically advanced and it relies a lot on the technical side of it, are the riders, maybe you included, just being more generalized or more, secretive about it, or safe about answering it? You don't really want to come out and say, yeah, I hate electronics, or yeah, this and that.
Well, we're looking forward to a good weekend up at Laguna. Trying to get this set up early. Consistency will be really important. Qualify well on Saturday and have a good setup for Sunday and get a good start. If possible, just try to ride my own race. I think really sometimes you get asked the same question over and over, so you just rattle off an answer just so that we know away and you can focus on riding.
Well, since we're at the Dainese store, also we're going to talk about leathers, and I know that you've had several different brands over the years, and fortunately for me, I've watched you race since you very first started racing. And I know you were an Alpine Star for a while, but now you've been in the Dainese for a couple of years. Do you like the Dainese? And I got to ask you, have you had to use the air suit?
Yes, I love the Dainese. This is my second year now, and gotten a lot. But this year, I really even feel a lot more comfortable in them. Got the fit, gloves, boots, everything. It's just perfect for me because it's all custom made. And the airbag is a big part of it. It makes, it's the first time I've used the airbag with Dainese, and really, it's a great system. I mean, I'm proof. I'm here to tell you I've had some pretty good crashes and it's worked. So, I think for street bikes down the road, guys doing track days, it's worth the technology, and it's really impressive. I mean, it's not just something they just got together one day and came up with. There's a lot of science into it, a lot of engineering, and it's something, the weight doesn't bother you. You don't really notice it until you need it. And, especially for the shoulders, I've had some shoulder problems in my career, and that's probably the main, of course it helps neck and back and different things, but really in the shoulders, because on a road racing, I think the most important, you can ride around a finger or wrist or foot, but you really need your shoulder, and those things help you stay safe.
Great. I think it's great to mention that. Unfortunately, I haven't had to use it yet, but whatever. World Superbike. You ever fancy having a try in World Superbike?
It's crossed my mind. I did Laguna a couple the wild card races back in my AMA days, and I enjoy watching some World Superbike, but really at the moment it doesn't excite me that much. I mean, it's a great series, and I raced a lot of those guys in the past. Some of the guys up front, but really I want to be in Motogp. It's the lead, it's the deep waters, it's sometimes maybe, I wish it wasn't so deep and a little bit easier, but Motogp is where I want to be and where I plan on staying for longer.
That's great, and I think everybody here wants this. Couple of crowd questions. This gentleman here is going to ask a question.
My name is Chris, and what was it like going to your first race? Were you really nervous, or do you think that you were prepared? And your first MotoGP race, because I know that I was really scared going against the best riders in the world. But how did you feel going into it?
Yeah, well, scared, I don't know was maybe the right word, but definitely didn't know what to expect. My first race was at Suzuka, a great track, wish we could still go to that one, and more just anxious to see what these guys were all about and do the racing. I mean, the big thing was obviously the bikes were different, the tracks were a lot different, but really a motorcycle race is, don't outthink it, just try to remember it's just a race, been doing it your whole life, and yeah, I would say pretty nervous, to be fair, yeah.
Got a real Nicky fan coming. Come on up.
Our names are Tevin and Kylie.
Come up.
So I was just watching the movie Fastest, and Ewan McGregor kind of introduces it like teammates is a deceptive word, But Ducati seems to be doing it a little bit different these days. So how is the team dynamic? Do you guys really work together, share engineers? I know other teams are really super competitive between the two. How is it in Ducati?
Pretty competitive. Of course, we really want to beat each other. On the other hand, yeah, we do share some engineers. Our tire engineer works on both sides of the garage. Certain electronics guys will do, if they only have a small part of one sensor, they'll do both guys. And sometimes even the Primac bikes but you definitely want to beat your teammate, and that's just the way it is. Of course, my teammate happens to be a Rossi guy, so he's not always easy to beat on Sunday. And but for me, I love having him as a teammate because at the moment it feels the bike's maybe not that, isn't the best bike, but so you sometimes measure yourself against your teammate. And, it's competitive, but when we do go testing and different things, of course, we share information, and me and Valley have a great relationship and get along good, respect each other, but certainly on Sunday, it's the first guy you want to beat, especially last week in Mugello, his home race. It's not an easy track, and I mean, the whole race, like, 0.1, 1.1, and I know if I let him get under a second, he's there, and he don't want me to be anywhere but not in his home. I literally want to be Rossi in Mugello because he won there, I think, 5 years in a row. So I want to beat him at his track on the same bike, and unfortunately came up a little bit short, but that was more my fault. Instead of defending him, I thought to go for the podium and not get caught up in blocking and just protecting my position. So I was good, and I hope me and him are teammates a few more years, to be honest.
I think that was a Rossi alarm that just went off. 1.1 was too much. How about you back there? Come on up. We have time for a couple more. Make it quick.
So out of all Motogp, I know you guys raced off-season like motocross, Supermoto, which one's your favorite? Please say Supermoto.
My favorite's Motogp. I mean, I like riding bikes, I like flat track, this and that, but on the right day when a Motogp bike is working and everything's going, it's the best in the world. So. Yeah, no, I love it. It's great training, and I'm not sure why it's hadn't really caught on bigger in America, because it really is a unique sport, and I know with the economy hadn't been easy, but I think Supermoto's gonna sometime make another comeback.
All right, we got another youngster. Are you gonna ask a question? All right.
You don't have a sign for me?
What's your favorite track?
My favorite track is, truthfully, I know you probably think I'm just playing up to the crowd here, but I'm going to say, it is a great track. It's a tough track, can be very technical, and but I've had good results there. It's my home race, and even in my AMA days, I won my first Superbike race there. I won my first AMA Super Sport race there, and the corkscrew. I mean, other tracks around the world, people say, "Oh, we got this corner. It's kind of like the corkscrew." Like we went to Aragon, and then now. No, that's a chicane. That's a little bit of a chicane. That's not the corkscrew, because I mean, the corkscrew is completely different. I mean, the elevation change there is really gnarly. So I would say Laguna is definitely my favorite track. And I say that even if I'm in Japan or in Australia, that's the same answer.
Yeah.
Last question. Next question. Get the ones you pick. All right, the guys behind us. Gotta give them a chance.
On the off season, when you're with your family, who's competitive out of you and your brothers?
I wouldn't say all of us. Even my sisters are pretty competitive. Yeah, that's a draw, really. I mean, I guess it depends on what we're doing, but yeah, I'd say we're all pretty competitive. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna take a break for a minute. He's gotta go back in the office and get a drink of water or something, and he'll be out to sign some autographs, I believe. So I want to thank you all for coming out again, and we'll be back in a minute.